Chapter 2. In our video series, let's talk about marriage. And the title of Chapter 2 is Let's Repair the Foundation. This is based on Chuck Swindoll's book, Strike the Original Match. And there's only one ideal marriage, and there were 4 ingredients went into making Adam and Eve's ideal marriage. First, God made a perfect fit. Eve was custom built from one of Adam's own ribs. Second, God brought them together. Adam didn't have to go through any difficult process to find a mate. Third, Eve was originally a part of Adam. No adjustments or adaptation had to be made between this first couple. A perfect match. Fourth, they were totally innocent. Adam and Eve's relationship and world started out sinless. Since the day that first couple sinned, however, no marriage has ever been ideal. Ideal relationships exist only in our minds, not in reality. Yet many of us actually enter into marriage with a romantic notion that it will be ideal. We place incredible demands on our spouse to be perfect mates who will meet all our needs. Sooner or later, however, the reality forces us to see that Prince Charming has clinks in his armor, and Sleeping Beauty wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And the marriage that we thought would be so effortless becomes a daily struggle. What can we do? Well, we can fight reality and continue to demand the ideal from our spouses, or we can look to the only one who is ideal and rebuild our marriages according to His realistic principles. The Lord has laid down 4 truths to serve as a solid foundation for all marriages. Number 1, severance. In Genesis 2, verse 24, quote, "For this cause a man shall leave his father and his mother." The first step in creating a new union with our spouses is the dissolving of the old one with their parents. We're to leave, which is in Hebrew carries the idea of departing, losing oneself, finding freedom from something. Quote, "And he shall cleave to his wife." The second principle for us to discover is found in the word cleave. In Hebrew, it means to cling, to glue, to keep close, and to remain constant. Marriage is to be a permanent relationship, a secure, unbreakable bond. Many marriages today, however, are entered into with the idea that the couple can always call it quits if things don't work out the way they thought it would. Something happens in a marriage when a husband or wife begins to entertain the thought of leaving. It's difficult to explain, but somehow a change occurs. A crack develops in the bond that holds the marriage together. If not repaired, that fissure grows each time the marriage faces stress. The bond eventually crumbles and the marriage is dissolved. Jesus says, quote, "What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate." End quote. So the question we must ask ourselves during difficult times is not, how can I get out of my marriage? But how can I make it better? That's marriage with a permanent attitude. 3, unity. Quote, "And they shall become one flesh." And they are husband and wife shall become one flesh. This principle differs from the previous 2 in that they were more decisions of the mind. Becoming one flesh, however, represents involvement, the practical working out of the union formed on the wedding day. It's a process that takes time. Two people with different backgrounds, temperaments, habits, scars, feelings, parents, educational pursuits, gifts, and interests don't immediately leave a wedding ceremony in perfect unity. The process begins there, however, and it is a lifetime project, acquiring wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Unity is not to be misconstrued as uniformity. Uniformity occurs in a donut shop or on an assembly line. The two would become one flesh includes mutual acceptance, listening, forgiving, belonging, and direction was implied. It is two individuals willingly blending into each other's lives, desiring to share with and thereby complete the other. Intimacy, quote, the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed, end quote. This guideline of intimacy is mentioned last in God's foundational list. There is a reason, though. The delights of intimacy between the husband and his wife are enjoyed because of permanency and severancy and unity. These are obviously in operation. The Hebrew term translated naked suggests the idea laid bare, emphasizing totally and completely naked. The picture is they had no hidden areas, no hang-ups, no embarrassments, no fears. There was total transparency, the complete absence of self-consciousness. This gave them unrestrained freedom, emotionally and physically, inwardly and outwardly. Well, there are severance, permanence, unity, intimacy, foundational guidelines upon which everything rests. And the tools needed are wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Quote, you are the one God gave me, and I accept you exactly as you are. You don't have to perform to earn my love or support. This is a kind of unconditional love that enables two people to become one flesh. There's no belittling, no tearing down with sarcasm, only building up through constant affirmation and affection. How well are you loving your spouse? Think about your choices and judgments, actions and apathy, things spoken and unspoken just yesterday. Were they bathed in accepted, unconditional kind of love? Use some time to take inventory of the depth or lack of acceptance you've demonstrated yesterday and write it in your journal. Some of us may be shocked at the lack of positive things we could honestly find to put down. So how can we improve the way we love our mates? Demand that they love us better so that we'll love them better back? Of course not. But what then? The only way we can nurture the love and acceptance we are starving for is by going to the one who is love himself. Remember the Apostle John's insight? We love because he first loved us. Have you lost touch with God's love for you? Have all the activities of life dreadened that deep? Free in sense of being totally loved and accepted by him? When's the last time you were overwhelmed by that love? Have you allowed yourself to slow down lately, long enough for him to hold you and love you? For those of you whose mate is willing, set aside some time to talk through the lessons together. Severance. Spend time just talking about the severance process both of you have gone through with your parents. Explore one another's thoughts and feelings about severance from your parents by asking questions such as, was it a healthy process? Were there any hurts? Did you feel prepared to go out on your own as a responsible adult? Do you feel your parents have let you go? What do you wish would have been done differently? And so forth. 2, permanency. Take turns answering the first question before you go to the second. Here's the first question. What are some of the things my spouse does for me or we do together that nurture the feeling of permanency in our marriage? And then 2, how can I make our bond feel more permanent? Acceptance. Finally, explore this principle by asking each other the following questions. Let them be a catalyst to take you as deep into this subject as you know how to go. Number 1, growing up, did you feel accepted in your family for who you were, warts and all? Or did you have to perform in order to earn your parents' approval? Number 2, today, do you still feel as if you had to perform to be accepted? Is your love toward your spouse dependent on his or her performance? And number 3, what are some ways that both of you can foster a deeper sense of acceptance in the love between you? If you're willing to repair the foundation, then you shouldn't have too much difficulty choosing the bricks that will rebuild your marriage. Building the bricks. This is the subject of our next lesson, and I look forward to joining you again. This ends our video. Have a blessed day.